Hi, I'm going to show you how I tied my invisible shoe. I used the same method that the invisible shoe people used, combined with the method that Sonia put a video on. Made a video on. I'm going to show you how my shoes look on me. You can slide them right in, slide your foot right into the shoe. And I've worn these quite a bit, so I'm not going to actually unhook them and retie them, but I'm going to show you how I tied them using a piece of paper. So the shoe, the way I've tied it, it goes across the ball of your foot that keeps it secure, but it also goes between my toes. And I can show you what the underside looks like. And I also like it because there's no knot underneath the foot. So this is the way I did it. I took my Vibram material, I gave myself quite a bit of room around my foot when I traced, and over time I cut it down to fit really the way I like it. And I used a Sharpie metallic color, this one was silver, when I made my holes, because I took my material to a cobbler who was a little confused with what he was doing, why he was doing it, but he made the holes for me anyway. And and that way you could really see the color on the black material. Here, let's see, I'll do it on the underside. You can see that it just shines when you put a dot down. So I placed my holes, the dog, I placed my holes exactly where Invisible Shoe said to. On the inside of the foot, I placed it on the inside of my ankle bone, and on the outside of the foot I placed it right where the foot kind of comes up, the heel kind of comes up into the arch. And then I placed another hole between my toes. Then I did what Sonia's method was, and I placed a hole that hugged the ball of my foot. So on the inside of my foot, one hole would go where the ball of the foot and the arch comes up. One hole would go where the big toe and the ball of the foot meet. And on the outside of my foot, it's where the little toe and the ball meet. And then right at the other side of the ball of your foot. And so those are my holes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes. And I don't have any of the string that the Vibram people send, so I'm just using a shoelace. I did find that if I took a bobby pin and strung the lace like a needle, I could pull it through the Vibram material quite easily, which I found really helpful, especially if I stepped on the material and then pulled it through. So I start out by taking my lace, dividing it in half, and I go down through the hole that's near the ball of near the heel. So I go down on one side from the top down to the underside, and then I bring it up around the Vibram material, and I do what Sonia said, and I twist it 3 times around this piece that's going to hold your heel in. And she was very right in that it just really keeps the string up high around your heel. 1, 2, 3. Then I did exactly what Sonia said, and I crisscrossed them. So I took the piece that was on the outside of the foot, and I crossed over the top of my foot, and I put it on the hole that would go where the big toe and the ball of the foot meet. So I go from the top down to the bottom there. Then I take the piece that's on the inside of the foot, I cross it over my foot, and I go into the hole where my pinky toe meets the ball of my foot, and I go from the top down to the underside. Then I bring the rope, the string, along the underside, the bottom of the shoe, and I go up. And I come from the bottom up to the top, where the ball of the foot meets the arch. So you can see it's just a line right there. And the same from the outside of the foot where the pinky toe comes in, I go right up through the hole where the ball meets the arch. So now I have pretty much, if you were doing Sonia's method, you would tie it right here. But I liked it going between my toe because it kept me from slipping forward, and I have no problem wearing stuff between my toe. So I brought it down, the piece that's on the inside, where the ball of the foot and the big toe is, or the arch, I brought it up over my big toe, and I went from the top down in between my toe. Now I thought about placing a knot there and holding it, and I wasn't sure what to do with this piece. And then I came up with taking it across the bottom and bringing it back through the hole where the big toe meets the ball of the foot. And obviously when you're doing it with the Vibram, the hole isn't that big. I did have to use a bobby pin, and I really forced it up, but I've worn them quite a bit. You can see right here where they came up together through the same hole. And I've worn them quite a bit, and it's held on. It hasn't had any problem, no ripping or anything like that. So now I've got it up through that hole, and now I have my two pieces on top of my foot, and I just crisscrossed over. And what I did is I tied a bow because I was a little nervous. I wasn't sure if I wanted to loosen the laces later. So I tied a bow and I cut the nylon string. And then since I've worn them quite a bit, I have made my bows smaller and smaller and cut more and more. So I really don't have, if you look right here, I don't have that much. The ends aren't very long, but I still definitely have ends. So if I wanted to fiddle with it and give it more room, of course you could just cut it like this, tie a square knot and cut it. So that's the way I've done my invisible shoes. I've been hiking in them, I've been running in them, and they've been great.